What's up everybody, Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with another daily deck tech video. Still subdued because I'm kind of recording several of these all at once. As I explained in my Pantlaza video, I had some medical emergency health problems today, and so kind of chilling. But today we have ourselves Isshin, Two Heavens as One. I have actually been meaning to make Isshin into a commander deck, and I actually will be able to do that. I had never had a copy of it, but now I got my Fallout New Vegas secret lair in, so I can make an Isshin deck. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Isshin is a 3/4 for 3 of one of the wedges that I can't ever remember the name of. I believe it's Mardu. If a creature, or is it Abzin? I think it's Mardu. If a creature attacking causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. He's a classic combat commander. We're going to want to trigger a bunch of these abilities of things attacking. So how are we going to do that today? Also, can I just say that he looks sweet? Well, we got ourselves a whole bunch of creatures here. This is going to be a pretty classic one for you. This deck also is hyper budget. I kept it under $100. Everybody sound the alarms. Weston kept a deck tech under $100. So first up we have Adeline, Resplendent Cathar. This is a classic commander card. Vigilance and Adeline's power is equal to the number of creatures you control. And when you attack, for each opponent, create a 1/1 white human creature token that's tapped and attacking that player, or a planeswalker they control. And of course, since it's going to trigger twice with Isshin, you'll make 2 of them, which then makes her even larger. We have Adept Water Shaper. Other tapped creatures you control have indestructible. This makes it so you can keep attacking into people without getting just absolutely obliterated. We have Adriana, Captain of the Guard. Melee 4/4, 3 generic, a red and a white. Other creatures you control have melee. Melee is whenever this creature attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each opponent you attack this turn. So this promotes and rewards attacking everyone at once. Make everyone hate you. Then we have Alesha, who laughs at fate. They're a 2/2 for 3. First strike, and whenever Alesha attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it. And at the beginning of your end step, if you attack this turn, return target creature card with mana value less than or equal to Alesha's power from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's a nice little reanimator card. Very, very fun overall, and I've actually been meaning to make a commander deck out of them. Maybe I'll do a deck tech of them next week. We have Ankle Shanker, which is a 2/2 for 5 with haste, so it can attack the turn it comes into play. And whenever Ankle Shanker attacks, creatures you control gain first strike and death touch until end of turn. This incentivizes people to not block your creatures, otherwise they're going to lose all of theirs. We have Asari Captain, a 4/3 for 5. With some really cool, like Iron Man looking samurai armor. And whenever a samurai or warrior you controls attacks alone, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each samurai or warrior you control. This deck is it has quite a few samurai in it, which is pretty cool. You know, I can study the blade as well. This is my World War II katana. Well, not katana, even a shingunto, but you know. I digress. We have ourselves Audacious Thief. Whenever Audacious Thief attacks, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Pretty simple. You might want to give him some form of evasion if you're going to do that, so you can draw multiple cards, multiple turns in a row, rather than just have him die immediately. We have Aurelia, the Law Above, Vigilance, Flying, and Haste, and whenever a player attacks with 3 or more creatures, you draw a card. That includes yourself, so you can draw multiple cards. And whenever a player attacks with 5 or more creatures, Aurelia deals 3 damage to each of your opponents, and you gain 3 life. So it lightning helixes. And then that will trigger twice as well with Isshin. We have Aron, a Venerated Guardian, a character that I actually recognize from Final Fantasy, as he is in the only Final Fantasy game I've ever played, Final Fantasy X. He has Vigilance and Shooting Star. When Aron attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it. When you do, exile target creature defending player controls with power less than Aron's power until Aron leaves the battlefield. So if you give him protection, he can exile a lot of things, because he's immediately, if you have Isshin in play, when he attacks, going to get 2 counters on him, making him a 4/5. We have Bone Cairn Butcher, which is mobilize 2. Attacking tokens you control have Death Touch. We have Caesar, Legion's Emperor, which is whenever you attack, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, choose 2. Create 2 1/1 red and white soldier creature tokens with haste that are tapped and attacking. Draw a card and lose a life. Or Caesar, Legion's Emperor, deals damage equal to the number of creature tokens you control to target opponent. We have a Gancho Exemplar, another wonderful samurai. This one with a Naginata. They are a 2/1 for 2, and whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, he gets +1/+1 until end of turn. With Isshin, that means if he attacks alone, he gets +2/+2, which is pretty cool. We have Atali, little Atali here. When it attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. Then you may cast any number of spells from among those cards without paying their mana cost. Triggers twice. We have Heiko Yamazaki, the general. Also pretty awesome art. 3/3 for 4. Might I say that the alternate arts from the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty were absolutely fantastic and did not have to go this hard, but they did. And even if the cards are bad, I might have to start picking up a lot of these simply because the arts are that good. We have Trample, and whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, you may cast target artifact card from your graveyard this turn. So if you have artifacts in your graveyard. Krenko, we all know what he does. When he attacks, you put a 1/1 counter on him, and then make goblins equal to the number of 1/1 counters, triggering it twice. Moonglove Extractor, whenever this creature attacks, you draw a card and lose a life. Peerless Samurai, they have Menace. That thing looks closer to a Yari than it would a Naginata. It's a 2/3 for 3, and whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, the next spell you cast costs 1 less to cast. That's pretty cool. We have Ryu, Storm's Edge, 3/3 for 4. First strike, whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, untap it. If it's the first combat phase this turn, there's an additional combat phase after this one, which is pretty cool because, triggers twice. Self for Samurai, which I really like the art on this. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, it gets lifelink until end of turn, and then you can sacrifice Selfless Samurai. Another target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. We have Sky Knight Vanguard, flying, and whenever it attacks, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, tapped and attacking. And then we have Zergo, Thunder's Decree, mobilize 2, and during your end step, warrior tokens you control have this token can't be sacrificed. So those little mobilized tokens just stick around. Then for sorceries, we have ourselves a Blasphemous Act. We have a Gancho Uprising, which is X and 2. Create X 2/2 white samurai creature tokens with vigilance. They gain menace and haste until end of turn. Each opponent creates X -1 2/2 samurai tokens with vigilance. We have Imperial Oath, which is create 3 2/2 samurai creature tokens and then with vigilance, and then scry. Sign in Blood, target player draws 2 cards, loses 2 life. We have Soul Transfer. Choose 1 if you control an artifact and an enchantment. As you cast this spell, you can choose both. Exile a creature or planeswalker, and return target creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. We also have Vindicate to destroy a permanent instance. Here we have an absurd amount of removal. We have Anguished Unmaking in here. Chaos Warp is in here. Despark. Dire Tactics. Fracture. Generous Gift. Mortify. Murder. Path to Exile, which I like this art. I didn't notice this art before. Stroke of Midnight. Terminate. Swords to Plowshares. Utter End. You Are Already Dead, which is destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn, which is pretty cool. And draw a card. There you go. A whole bunch. Now for the other cards in here. We have Deadly Dispute. Sack a creature, draw 2 cards, create a treasure token, which is pretty simple since we'll have a bunch of tokens already. Offer Immortality. Target creature gains Death Touch and Indestructible until end of turn. Also pretty easy. I need to dig a million of these out from my boxes upon boxes of Phyrexial will be 1. We have ourselves Threat Possibility, discard a card, draw 2. Unbreakable Formation makes our stuff indestructible. If you play it during your main phase, you put a 1/1 counter on each of those creatures and they gain Vigilance as well. And then your Temple is under attack, which is you can pray for protection. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn, or you and target opponent each draw 2 cards. Our artifacts are Ancestral Katana. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, you may pay 1. When you do, attach the katana to it. Equipped creature gets +2/+1. We have Arcane Signet and Soul Ring in here for mana rocks. We have Diamond Pickaxe, makes us a treasure. We also have Moon Silver Spear. When equipped creature has first strike, whenever equipped creature attacks, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. Sigil of Valor. Whenever the equipped creature attacks alone, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each other creature you control. And then we have Swiftfoot Boots for protection. For enchantments, we have All Out Assault. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and Death Touch. And when this enchantment enters, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase, followed by an additional main phase. When you next attack this turn, untap each creature you control. We have Fervent Charge. Whenever a creature you control attacks, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. You got your NCR Ranger on there. I gotta figure out what I did with my copy of this. We have Gleam the Battlefield, which is whenever a creature you control attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it. Mardu Ascendancy. Whenever a non-token creature you control attacks, put a 1/1 red goblin onto the battlefield that's tapped and attacking. And Sacrifice Mardu Ascendancy. Creatures you control get +0/+3. Rising of the Day. Creatures you control have haste, and legendary creatures you control get +1/+0. Shiny Impetus. This makes something goated. I always love sneaking these in here whenever I can because goat is amazing. We have Thunder of Unity. Also, this is whenever enchanted creature attacks, you create a treasure token. Thunder of Unity, you draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Whenever a creature you control enters this turn, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. We have plenty of tokens to do that with. We have Ringcrag Siege. You choose Mardu or Jeskai, and if a creature attacking causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, it triggers an additional time. And Jeskai, at the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token, gains lifelink and haste until end of turn. For our lands, we don't have too much in the order of anything really out there. As you can see, whole bunch of lands to help us get our Mardu colors. Very budget mana base. We do have Rogue's Passage in here. We do have Secret Tunnel in here. But other than that, pretty simple and straightforward. I think that this could operate pretty well in a budget deck. The main thing that will keep this deck operational is the fact that we have this much spot removal in here. And we even have a little bit of mass removal. And then we have a solid creature base with 21 creatures. Let me know what you think of the deck in the comments down below. Like I said, try to keep this one pretty cheap. But as always, I'm Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.